crowd of the thousands who stuck it out. Certainly not the crowd we were expecting inside. Now, from our vantage point here, just catty corner to the BOK Center, we couldn't really see the crowd inside. But I do believe Fox 25's Erica Stanish did manage to get inside for just a little bit. Let's toss it down to her. She's live outside the BOK Center right now. Erica, what was the crowd like inside the building?
And of course, coming up tonight, there's an event fans can really get involved in Edmond.
That's right. So, you know, we have the mid-first bank shot contest at every game, which we try to give away $20,000. Well, at our first home,
several big races that we're keeping an eye on, Dan, including that battle for Congressional District 5.
It's huge. It's huge. All eyes are on it. This is a nationally watched race with a lot of money in it. While we pull this up right now, you can see Congresswoman Kendra Horn, about 7% of the vote is in. She's got about a 60-40 lead right now. For some more analysis on this, let's bring in Fox 25 political analyst Bobby Stem. Bobby, I know you're looking at some of these numbers. We're breaking down between Oklahoma County and Seminole and Pott counties. What are you seeing in the data?
A teenage girl is dead. The rest of her family in the hospital right now after a propane explosion leveled the McGuire family home.
Yeah, that explosion happened early this morning in a pretty secluded neighborhood right here. Now, this is near the area of Northeast 139th and Midwest Boulevard, very close to the Edmond-OKC border. But that blast could be felt miles away. And tonight, investigators believe they found the cause. Let's go down to that scene where Fox 25's Connor Hansen is standing by with the latest. Connor, right here around Memorial, that's where police try their first pit maneuver. Take a look at this. You're going to see officers are able to spin out the suspects in this car. But in just a second here, that car is going to come right back in frame and continue north on the Broadway extension. Police are able to catch up, and they're going to try a second pit maneuver. Watch, you're going to get a little bump in the back of this car, and then here comes that bump. Watch this back window now. You're going to see it roll down, and in just a second after this third bump, there's a gun that comes out. 7 shots fired at that car. Fortunately, the officer and the cruiser were not hit. Another curveball thrown in this situation, though. You got a letter from the U.S. Secretary of Education yesterday that said some public schools may not be able to get federal relief funds from the American Rescue Plan because their return to in-person learning doesn't follow those CDC guidelines, which include masking. Has that made you rethink anything, or what was your reaction to that letter?
Well, number one, I wouldn't call it a curveball. I would call it just the way President Biden and this administration has been operating.
We want to move on to our next topic right now, education. You both claim to be champions of education, and according to data from the U.S. Labor Department, Oklahoma ranks in the bottom third of the country in teacher salaries and spending per student. What makes you the best candidate to improve schools for teachers and students? Congresswoman Horn, we'll start with you. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. We are keeping a very close eye on the Cimarron River in Guthrie. You can see it's already worked its way onto Highway 77 there. Sharday Gregg is going to be live with an update in just a few minutes. Live look at the New York Stock Exchange big board right now. Stocks continue to tumble. We're just about 12 hours out now from President Trump's new tariffs going in on China. Speaking of the president, he's going to speak at the White House in just a few minutes. This as the White House and Congress continue their battle. And your live look outside, cloudy and gray so far today. Chip, we don't have a severe threat today, so that's good, but still a couple of showers lurking around the state.
yeah, sprinkles, really. That's what we're dealing with.
Not bad starting your career in Vegas, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty well documented OU didn't have a single defensive player drafted last year. We're going to flip the script this time. In all likelihood, linebacker Kenneth Murray will have a new team by the end of tonight. What's the buzz you're hearing around him?
Well, you're talking about a guy that started all 3 years at Oklahoma.
Conversation over mandating masks continues. We've seen Norman and Stillwater both do it. Yesterday, Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum sort of threatened he didn't want to have to put that in, but would put it in if he had to. Has your thinking changed on that at all? Are you leaning now closer to having that conversation?
But I think it's going to be handled just like it was in Norman and Stillwater through a democratic process, and that conversation will take another step next week.
So at this point, not ruling out that we could, in fact, see a mask mandate across Oklahoma City.
No, I think everything has to be on the table, but I think ultimately that will be a vote of the council.
Start our team coverage right here in Seminole tonight as folks there recover from their third tornado this week. Let's get you out to Fox 25's Tom Ferguson. He is downtown right now. So, Tom, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing there. Looks like a mess. Start with Joe Biden. His path is relatively straightforward. He's got to win the two close states that Hillary Clinton won in 2016. That's Nevada and Minnesota, already given him to them. Then he's got to win back what's known as the blue wall. That would be Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Good news for Biden. He's polling very well in all of those. I took off New Jersey there, but add it back in. That's at 270. He doesn't have to worry about Florida, doesn't have to worry about Texas, Georgia, Arizona. He's got to win those 3 big states, and it goes to him. For the president, the math gets a little bit tougher. Again, taking a look at those polling averages, down significantly right now. Wisconsin and Michigan, those are almost 8 points. So if we give those to Joe Biden, that's not enough for Biden to win. So the president has room. It starts with Texas. If he loses Texas, he's got major problems.
Take it away. Let's see. Dan's going to do the play-by-play.
All right, here we go, racers. We are off, and here they go. The pig's out of the chute fast. That pig turning around turn 1. Here he comes right around turn 2. The duck is way behind. Oh, the pig stopped. We got a sheep. We got a sheep as a winner. Oh, the goat couldn't get in. The duck is still hanging out. Someday the duck's going to get to the end. Come on. Come on. Come on, duck.
Gotta finish strong.
This is Gas Car here at the Great American Speedway. Crazy Animal Races at the Oklahoma State Fair.
And you
That
can
is
find
awesome.
a race just like this one any day at 2 or 5:30. This is all through the State Fair, so it wraps up on Sunday. But they've got different races going on all day. If you just want to watch pigs race, if you're not into the interspecies thing, that's cool. They've got a race for you.
That was so fun, and I'll just say it. The pig blew it. He had it in the bag, and he blew it. An iconic bomber is now in the metro. What's being done to the decades-old plane to make it fly again?
A new plan to have almost anybody help out in the classroom. We've got your back with a fact check tonight on whether these new subs have to first meet certain requirements.
Plus, federal benefits are ending up in mailboxes of people who didn't sign up. What you need to do if you get them. We're usually on at 9, but not tonight because of the game. The news starts right now.
This is the Fox 25 News Late Edition.
But it was confusing to parents because they just got this card in the mail and had no idea why they were getting it.
Edmond parents are speaking out following a story that we first brought you last night.
Yeah, when families who don't qualify for free or reduced lunch got benefit cards in the mail, they wondered why. Fox 25's Peyton May has your back tonight, digging in to find answers. Peyton, how did this all begin?
Dan and Wendy, our search for an explanation is ongoing. Answers live in studio. Peyton May, Fox 25 News.
Peyton, thank you. It's taken almost 3 weeks to get here, but the B-52 is finally in Oklahoma City tonight. The plane made its way to Tinker Air Force Base this morning from Arizona. It's set to become the prototype for all B-52s for the next few decades. A push to revamp rather than rebuild new aircraft by the military. The logistics to get the B-52 from Arizona to here were intense. Since the aircraft is so huge, whole streets had to be shut down when the plane went through small towns.
To be able to work on something that's as iconic as the B-52 and then be able to modernize it to bring it into the 21st century, keeping it flying into 2050 and beyond is very, very exciting for the Boeing company.
Boeing will be replacing the old engine with a new Rolls-Royce engine, which will have better fuel mileage. Radars will also be upgraded. Troopers say they were honored to be part of the escort for the B-52 bomber. People in many towns throughout Oklahoma saw it pull through. If you have any pictures, you can upload them to the Chime In section on our website.
The state health department updating COVID numbers tonight. Today marked the 3rd straight day with more than 13,000 new cases. There are now 122,000 active cases statewide. COVID is again affecting schools as teachers are forced to stay home sick. The governor hoping to fix that with his new order allowing state employees to work as substitute teachers. But it's drawing a lot of questions tonight. One of the biggest, do these state employees have to go through a background check to sub? We've seen plenty of questions and concerns on social media talking about this question. So tonight, we're getting answers for you. So do state employees have to go through that background check? The answer, yes, they do. According to officials with OSBI and the State Department of Education, it's the same background check process a traditional sub or emergency certified teacher would have to go through. And this applies even if the person already went through one to be a state employee. So here's how this whole process was explained to us. Basically, a state employee wanting to be a sub submits a background check to the Department of Ed. Then it goes to the OSBI for processing. They're going to run that actual check through state and FBI databases. Officials tell us that alone can can take anywhere from 2 to 14 days. And once that's done, it goes back to the Department of Ed for final review and approval. This entire process can take 4 to 6 weeks. Now, officials tell us while they are working as quickly as possible, there's no official order to expedite this process. And there's also the question of who has to pay for background checks, which can run you about $60. According to the State Department of Ed, the person who requested the check normally has to pay for it, and they have not been told otherwise by the governor's office. Now, if you have questions or anything really you want us to look into, reach out to us via email or on our social media pages.
Quite the warm-up today, but will it stick around? Chief Meteorologist Jeff George has got your back tonight with how the rest of your weekend will pan out and what to expect for the start of our work week. Jeff.
If you really like warmer winter weather, you're really going to like the next couple days. But how much snow do we get on Tuesday? Your storm watch forecast in just a little bit.
Next time a winter storm blows through, you can get minute-by-minute updates on your phone with your Fox 25 weather app. You can download it right now wherever you get your apps.
The live desk tracking growing tensions between the UK and Russia. Let's pull up Apple TV so I can show you this tweet right here from Liz Truss, the UK Foreign Secretary. She says, quote, "We will not tolerate Kremlin plot to install pro-Russia leadership in the Ukraine." This after the UK says it has intel that Russia is trying to do just that. Russia has denied claims that it's planning to attack the Ukraine and also denies the statements made by the British Foreign Office. Now, the U.S. recently agreed to continue having those diplomatic conversations with Russia, but we do know that Russia has been sending more soldiers to the border with the Ukraine and that the U.S. had sent ammunition and weapons to the Ukraine.
An update tonight on a legal battle over how much you should get to know about Oklahoma's execution. Just days ago, a judge denied a request for a temporary injunction to get the state to turn over certain information about the drugs used before our next execution.
But the case attempting to shed light on our death penalty process isn't over yet. And as we learned, there's more at stake than you might think. Hodara calls the judge's ruling in favor of the state last week disappointing, but the full case does move forward. The next hearing is set for February 22nd. A state lawmaker wants to put the death penalty to a vote of the people. Rep. Maury Turner wants the question of whether the death penalty should be used to go on a ballot. This has already been done before in 2016 with 66% of voters affirming the death penalty.
I walked today because not many people in my generation have the guts to stand up here and do what's unpopular of them to do.
We want to see a culture where we have people that say, I'm going to warmly welcome every child and not discriminate against any child.
That was the focus of today's march at the state capitol. Pro-life supporters were joined by Senator Langford to protest abortion. The march comes ahead of an expected decision from the Supreme Court in a Mississippi case that could limit abortions across America. Supporters hope to completely overturn Roe v. Wade. Senator Langford says states should be able to decide abortion laws for themselves.
But what the court is looking at is, can the states come back and be the one to be able to manage actually abortion, not the federal government? I am very hopeful that we're going to have a post-Roe America by this summer.
The Supreme Court is expected to rule on the abortion case soon. All right, let's take a look at what's trending on OKCFox.com tonight. The only child of actress Regina King has died. Ian Alexander Jr. just turned 26 on Wednesday. A family representative confirmed the death was a suicide. A Washington man allegedly shot someone he says was driving his stolen car. Deputies say the 70-year-old found his stolen vehicle at home and started arguing with the man driving it. The driver then reportedly tried to drive off. That's when that man opened fire. Both the shooter and driver were taken to the hospital. And an Illinois man is crushed to death in a garbage truck. Community members say Leroy Keller was homeless. Officials are concerned as it gets colder, something like this could happen again. You can read more about those stories and a whole lot more right now at OKCFox.com. And another story that's trending on our website tonight, massive data discrepancies for the state health department. The numbers of COVID variants in the state don't add up. You can find out what our investigation found and how the Department of Health responded by opening your Fox 25 News app.
Oklahoma's Department of Wildlife is trending on Twitter and TikTok tonight, all because of a post about mountain lions. It started earlier this week when the agency tweeted about not letting mountain lions inside. That tweet was seen all over the world. The agency keeps updating their Twitter account with new memes, like this one today. They're also making fun of their tweet on their official Department of Wildlife TikTok page. It's definitely a fun one to follow. Happening this weekend, you can get design ideas at the OKC Home and Garden Show. The 3-day event will have home displays and products and services to help with your next project. Some event goers were treated to HGTV star Darren Keefe at the urban farming feature. Show organizers say the crowds are ready to come back.
We're definitely having our consumers coming back. Folks are ready to come on out, speak to our experts. Everyone has some sort of a project for their home.
Tomorrow is the last day. Show hours are from 11 to 5. You can get tickets online or at the door. A surveillance state in schools, what many parents are calling a new plan to put cameras in classrooms, hallways, and cafeterias. Why districts say they're needed. That's coming up.
Plus, hundreds of seized guns are sitting in police stations across the state. We've got your back with what most departments do with the weapons they take off the street. Next.
And Monday through Friday, make sure you catch us 1 hour earlier than most late newscasts on the Fox 25 News at 9. You can also watch online at okcfox.com or through our Fox 25 News app.